curiosity of old age had come up to the window, which was now directly opposite, so that she could continue to see everything. "But I just want to ask Frau Grobach," said K, moving as if intending to leave by tearing himself free of the two men, although they were some way away from him. "No," said the man at the window, tossing the book onto a low table and standing up. "You are forbidden to leave. You are under arrest, and that's all there is to it." "It looks like it," said K. "Why, though?" he then asked. "We have no instructions to tell you that. Go into your room and wait. The proceedings are now underway, and you will hear everything at the proper time. I'm going beyond my brief, talking to you in a friendly fashion. I just hope that nobody hears me except Franz. He himself is in breach of regulations, being friendly to you. If you go on being as lucky as you were when it was decided who your guards should be, you have nothing to fear." K wanted to sit down, but now he saw that in the whole room there was nowhere to sit, except in the armchair by the window. "You'll see soon enough how true all that is," said Franz, coming up to him at the same time as the other man. The latter, in particular, towered significantly over K and clapped him on the shoulder every now and then. Both men examined K's nightshirt and said that he would now have to put on a shirt of far poorer quality, but that they would look after this shirt, together with the rest of his laundry, and return it all to him if the case did turn out in his favour. "It's better for you to give us the things rather than hand them over to the depository, because mistakes quite often occur in the depository, and what's more, everything there gets sold after a certain period of time, regardless of whether the relevant proceedings are over or not. And the time they can take, trials like that, especially recently. It is true that you would in the end receive the takings from the sale from the depository. However, the first thing to say is that this sum of money is in itself pretty small, because when items are sold, it's not the size of the bid, but the size of the bribe that counts. What's more, experience shows that the takings shrink over the years as they pass from one person to another." K scarcely listened to what was being said. The right to dispose of his things as he pleased, a right he perhaps still had, was not one he valued very highly. For him it was far more important to clarify his position. In the presence of these people, though, he couldn't even think. The stomach of the second guard, they could only be guards, kept pushing up against him as if he were a real friend of his. If he looked up, though, he noticed a face that did not match that fat body at all, dry and bony, with a large, sideways slanting nose, a face that was communicating over his head with the other guard. What sort of people were they, then? What were they talking about? Which authority did they work for? After all, K lived in a state under the rule of law. Everywhere was peaceful. All the laws were in force. Who was it who had the nerve to raid him in his flat? He was always inclined to look on the bright side and not to think the worst until it actually happened. He tended to make no provision for the future, even when everything looked threatening. In this case, though, that did not feel right. One could naturally look on the whole thing as a joke, as a clumsy joke which his colleagues at the bank had set up for reasons unknown to him, perhaps because today was his 30th birthday. That was possible, of course. Perhaps he needed only somehow to look his guards in the eye and laugh. Then they would laugh too. Perhaps they were porters off the street. They looked a bit like them. However, he was determined this time not to give away the slightest advantage he perhaps had over these people. From the moment he had set eyes on Franz, the guard, he had felt that strongly. K saw that there was a very slight risk that people would subsequently say that he had not seen the funny side. But he did remember certain instances, unimportant in themselves, in which he, unlike his friends, had quite consciously and without any sense of possible consequences behaved rashly and had then been punished by what had happened as a result. Although he had normally not been in the habit of learning from experience, that would not happen again, or at least not this time. If this was some farce that was being staged, he would play along with it.